The other thing we've been talking about, the principal broker is responsible for the firm's escrow accounts. You can't just turn everything over to your bookkeeper or to a supervising broker. It falls on your shoulders. If we're going to come in and we get a complaint filed against the firm saying that there's $50,000 missing from an escrow account, it's going to fall on the principal broker's shoulders. I mean, they may find fault with some other people, but this person is the one that's ultimately responsible for everything. They are responsible for maintaining the escrow account and making sure that the balance in the escrow account is sufficient at all times to account for all funds that are designated to be held by the firm or the sole proprietorship. And again, the principal broker is held responsible for these accounts. Principal broker, responsible for placing the funds into the escrow account, which are designated to be there. Now, I know in a lot of times with the firms, they have bookkeepers that do this, but the principal broker needs to make sure that this bookkeeper, whoever it is that they have making these deposits, is doing it on time. One of the regulations says that the escrow monies have to be deposited within 5 days of contract ratification. Some of the brokers that I've been dealing with actually have a form letter that they have and it's got a blank for this agent, contract date money should have been deposited, date money was deposited, and they send that stuff into us when they find that one of the licensees that's working with them and their firm hasn't complied with that provision.
Can I ask you a question about that? I've heard two different things. Can you clarify the 5 days? I mean, if I give the 5 days the 5th day and it's deposited on the 5th day, is that?
It's the 5th business banking day.
Okay, so if the check is given to them on the 5th day and it's deposited, that's fine.
Correct.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The broker.
And then the broker deposits it on the 5th day, as long as that money is into the escrow account on the 5th business banking day.
What about banks don't post it, if it's after 3 o'clock, they don't post it to the next day? Are you considered as being?
You've got a deposit slip that said when it was deposited.
They're not going to split that particular hair.
Yeah.
But day 6 is a hair.
You don't look at the date of the check, right? Just upon ratification. You look at the contract.
The contract ratification date.
By the time the check is dated.
Yeah, you could have been negotiating with the person for
Right.
3 weeks, 4 weeks, and they wrote the check early on inside of the transaction. Negotiations went on. But when it's ratified,
On ratification.
And like I was talking about earlier when we've been looking at the regulation, you've got the disbursement of funds from the escrow account. In purchase transactions, the responsibility, again, it falls on the principal broker, that they have to place the earnest money deposit into the escrow account and make sure that it stays there. Principal broker is responsible to report any licensee under their supervision who violates this escrow provision. That's what I was telling you about earlier. If it's not done, and then if they don't do it, then we can also go after the principal broker then for failing to report that escrow violation to the board.
We know how tough this is.
Oh, yeah, it's-
Everybody knows.
And then, like I said here, failing as a principal broker to report to the board within 3 business days where they reasonably believe the improper conduct of the licensee caused non-compliance with this subdivision. When I get the letters in from these brokers, I have a cover memo that I send to the Compliance and Investigations Division for them to docket a case against this individual. And then the Compliance and Investigations Division will assign an investigator.
Every time, automatically.
Almost
An investigator.
zero tolerance.
Yep.
zero.
Zero
Zero
tolerance
tolerance.
for escrow.
Mm-hmm.
That's important to remember.
What the board's been doing in some of these cases, if it's a first-time violation, most cases, depending on how much the check was for, how late the check was, and whatnot, they'll offer the person a consent order that, they'll agree that, yes, I'm in violation of the regulation, and they'll set a minimal fine for that. And a lot of times, I believe the board will also go make them take education.
The going rate for that violation for a first offense, consent order, is $500 and $125 board cost.
150 board costs.
Oh, it's $150?
Mhm.
But please, and I know that Jay's saying that, but please understand that if a board member hears the case, the board member does the tech review. He doesn't have to say, I'm going to do the $500.
True.
The board member could look at it and say, wait a minute, run this puppy up to whatever I want to run it up to. I mean, it's
Yeah, I mean.
it's going to be reasonable.
Mhm.
I would say that's the median and that's the customary
Right.
disposition.
But if somebody's done it more than once,
You're right.
then it's going to escalate.
Yeah. You do it 3 times, you've got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Maximum fine that can be charged is $2,500.
Per violation.
For violation.
So it runs into real money real quick.
Yeah.